Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get myself together. There we go. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It has been a while. Man, I don't know when, I don't know what the last day or date was that I did sound off Saturday. That's how long it's been. So listen, I am here. It is 4:04. Let's get into this and let's do it. Let's do it. I'm so rusty. On top of being rusty, I'm just going to tell y'all. Hey, on top of being rusty, I'm in the middle of writing a sermon for tomorrow. I am preaching tomorrow, so if you want to jump on the Providence Baptist Church live tomorrow at 10 a.m. I will be up preaching probably by 10:45, baby. So don't delay. It is Communion Sunday tomorrow too, so maybe slightly later. But anyway, I had to stop in the middle of my sermon to do this, and I usually don't do that ever because, hey, Vaj, because when you get in the flow, any of you who know, whether you're preaching or whatever you're doing, when you get in the flow, it's kind of hard to stop. But I'm feeling pretty good about this message, so I thought I could take a good breather. So, welcome, 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 y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Those of you that are on YouTube, welcome to you. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, welcome, welcome, welcome. There is so much to talk about, and I certainly am not going to get through all of it today. Um, and I'm certainly not even going to get through all of it even within this hour. Hey, Tiana. Hey, those of you jumping on IG. But I'm going to try my absolute best. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Let me get some quick things out the way right quick. I just want to highlight some quick things. Actually, maybe I should wait to the end. There'll be a little bit more people on, so I will highlight. Okay, so first and foremost, out the gate, we are in the middle of the Olympics. Today has been a big, big, big day for track and field. We've been watching for some of our favorite people, and of course, we've been watching since way back. But I know some people track and field is their thing, so they've been waiting for this day. Some people gymnastics was their thing, or swimming was their thing. And the cool thing is I have Peacock, and so Peacock is showing every single thing, and it's overwhelming because when you pull up the menu and you click on all the things, it shows you all the games that are live, or the events, I'm sorry, that are live, and it's hard to decide what to watch. So it's like even with putting up a split screen, you still can't watch everything anyway. But we are in the throes of the Olympics, and just a few minutes ago, maybe about 30 minutes ago at this point, um, Sha'Carri Richardson took home the silver medal in the 100 meter, as well as Melissa Jefferson took home the bronze in the 100 meter. Both United States competitors. We have been waiting for Sha'Carri. This is her redemption song, honey, her redemption story. And it's just good to see people that other people have discounted out, in my opinion, come back and do well. Whether she won gold, silver, bronze, or whatever, but definitely she came back and showed up and showed out. And that's what we were looking for anyway. And there was one major disappointment, and that was that Shelly Ann Frazier withdrew from the race. And there's a lot swirling around about it. But as soon as we heard it and they showed her walking out of wherever she was, I instantly went online like a crazy person. And I was constantly refreshing because I was like, I got to know what happened. So allegedly or apparently, um, both Shelly Ann and Sha'Carri arrived to the stadium via private transportation. They did not arrive on the bus for the athletes. I'm just going to assume that this bus for the athletes goes to the housing that the athletes are staying in, right? Now, I don't know that every athlete is staying in housing. I'm assuming maybe some of them are staying in housing, some of them are not, some of them are staying in different places. Um, but apparently they arrived in private transportation, and because of that, they were not allowed to enter during the warm-ups because of some new rule. Now, I mean, I have a billion questions about that, but because we don't have all the information, yeah, I won't do a whole lot of speculating about a lot of things, but I do want to know, when was this rule known to people? Um, I also would like to know, is it typical for, let's say, a Shelly Ann Frazier, a Sha'Carri Richardson, a Noah Lyles, a LeBron James, a Katie Ledecky? Is it typical for them to be sometimes housed in other places, right? Maybe they have a little bit more money, a little bit more status. I don't know. Maybe they don't stay in the dorms, they don't ride the buses, all this hoopla, hoopla, hoopla. I want to know if that's typical, because Shelly Ann was in all the semifinals and those other the qualifiers leading up to this, and I just can't imagine on this particular day that this is the only day she arrived in private transportation. However, I don't know, right? So very disappointing that she did not compete in this race, because this is her last Olympics. She has announced that. She has said this is going to be it for her, and we're looking for the rookie and the vet to go against each other. I mean, kudos and wow to the young lady from St. Lucia. Her last name is Alfred. I think her name is Julian. My goodness, that girl was crushing. So kudos to her, and I certainly don't want to diminish anything that she did, um, at all. Period on that sentence. We were absolutely looking for, though, the rookie and the vet. And definitely knowing that this was going to be Shelly Ann's last race or last Olympics, and she withdrew from this particular competition. I need to understand what the withdrawal was about, though, because apparently Sha'Carri did get in at some point. They were both, I saw videos of them both outside the gate talking with the people, trying to figure out what was going on. So now I'm trying to figure out how did Sha'Carri get in, and how she didn't, why wasn't she able to get in? I'm wondering if she got in and then withdrew. Did she not get in at all? I had to withdraw. I don't know. This is a lot. I do think she's still going to be in something else. I think the relay. So that's not the last of her I think we're seeing at all, but that was it for this particular race. And so that in and of itself was disappointing, although it was a very, 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 very good race. I don't know what that other girl's name is. Am I saying this girl? Is her name Tasha? Tanisha? The girl with the two ponytails with the long braids from the US? I hadn't heard much about her either. But I'm curious if those braids weigh her down a little bit. It's one thing when you're wearing like the quick weaves and things like that, the ponytails and everything, because that stuff is typically very light. But I wonder if those braids weighed her down. Braids are heavy. I mean, braids are heavy, locks are heavy, all that stuff is heavy. And so I wonder, because she looks fast, I just wonder if that weighs her down. But that's a whole separate conversation. Anyway, congratulations to Sha'Carri. Richardson on her silver, and Melissa Jefferson on her bronze. Amazing, amazing, and absolutely congratulations to, um, I think her name is Julian Alford. Alfred, I could be saying it wrong. From St. Lucia on her gold. That is the only gold St. Lucia has ever achieved, ever. Okay. So at this point, when I go back to the Royalton in St. Lucia, where Corey and I went a couple years ago, I want to see something named after her somewhere. I need all the resorts to have a space and a spot named after her. So anyway, those girls did an amazing job. Um, the guys' finals haven't come up just yet, but looking forward to Noah Lyles and many others to see what they do. And then listen, swimming. I mean, Katie Ledecky is just a machine. Hey, hey, Sharita. I mean, that girl's amazing. I cannot even. I cannot fathom. I love swimming. I enjoy swimming, but I cannot fathom what these people do in the pool. Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, Caleb Dressel, um, Simone. I cannot wrap my head around that level of swimming for that long, that distance with that type of. I mean, just simply amazing. These people have to be studied. These people have to be studied. I'm going to answer something right quick because I'm talking about swimming and the Olympics, and I'm getting to some other stuff, so don't go anywhere. I watched a movie on Netflix, not on Netflix. I watched a movie on maybe Hulu called Woman at the Sea, and it is about Trudy Ederle, Gertrude Ederle, who is the first woman to successfully swim across the English Channel. And man, I learned so much about her, and that movie had me crying. I mean, wow. And I keep thinking, which this will be a good segue into Kamala Harris and everything, but I'm not ready to go there yet, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I just keep thinking about the things that women have had to overcome. Women as a whole, let alone women of color in our different sex of who we are or whatever. But I just keep thinking about everything that women had to overcome, and watching that movie and watching her was simply amazing. And then to learn, not only did she do that, but this is a girl who, when she was a child, she overcame measles. She really was supposed to die. They had basically pronounced her dead. And then she overcame this. And then they told her that that swimming she was doing was not going to work. She was either going to lose her vision or her hearing, but she defied those odds anyway. But a few years after she swam the English Channel, she did go deaf. And then she taught children how to swim. She had a crazy spinal injury. The parade that they had for her in New York was the largest parade for any athlete in history. I mean, I could just go on and on. A Woman at the Sea. Go watch it. Very good. Very historical. Very good historical story. And that movie was done very well. I mean, I was crying like a baby. It was ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going on and on. I'm still talking about the Olympics, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Simone Biles. What can we say? Simone Biles is the GOAT. And I honestly think it's about time, and I've seen this phrasing somewhere, so I didn't make this up. It is about time that we identify and characterize and label Simone Biles as the greatest athlete of all time. I watched a guy from NASA talk about what she's able to do, how far she's able to flip in the air, and how unbelievably difficult that is from an engineering perspective, from a perspective of someone who looks at and talks about measurements and those sort of things based upon her height, based upon her build, based upon what she's doing. And I think we're gonna have to give it to her. I do. I think that she has to be labeled at this point as the greatest athlete of all time, not just the greatest gymnast, which we already know she is. We knew she was that. We knew she was that already. But I think that this has really solidified her in that regard. And I've seen many athletes already call her that. And so we have to give this to her. What she is able to do is incredible. And I am so glad that she took that time off and that she did not let the comments on social media and the noise of the media and anyone else get in her head about taking that mental time. Mental note for all of us, whether you are a preacher, a teacher, a leader, an administrator, a business person, you're in politics, you're the president of the United States, you are the Pope, you are the gatekeeper, uh, whatever you are, note to self, you need a mental health break. We all should learn from Simone Biles, because I know for some people it may be easier to take mental health breaks than others, but I think that when we prioritize taking mental health breaks, then the industries that we're in take it more seriously. For example, in education, and Sharita, you know this, in different counties, and I know specifically in the county that I work in, um, there is language now in our procedures and regulations about staff taking mental health days. There's language now. That didn't come out of the thin air, right? It always comes from somebody being the pioneer or being the person that started it. And so we have to do that. And I hope that more people follow her suit, because like she said, those athletes, those former gymnasts, you know, the one gymnast, I can't even call her name, I believe back in the 90s, that continued on with the games and ended up breaking and ripping and shredding up shins and all that stuff. You know, those people back then, they didn't think that they could do that, or they weren't strong enough to say, look, I can't do this, even though the whole stadium's cheering for you to go on. But you know good and well, if you get up there and flip, you know it's going to be over, right? And so for somebody to say, listen, I know what I can do, but right now, if I get up here, I got something called the twisties. If I flip, I might land on my neck and die. And these people are doing death defying, gravity defying things. This is not just somebody going to work, right? Um, but I hope that more industries and more organizations will use those as examples of people need mental health breaks. Mental health is serious out here, y'all. And mental health is not, it's not a black thing, a white thing, an Asian thing. It's a people thing at this point. People are breaking down. People are at their breaking points. People are overwhelmed. Blah 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 blah. So I didn't mean to go into all that, but kudos to Simone Biles for taking that break, because she took that break and came back stronger, better, wiser, and then was able to mentor her team into that. You know, Jay, Carrie, and Sonny, and Jordan Childs, and look, you know, just even her coming back from that, just think about what that's going to do for them in the rest of their career, and how they'll be able to prioritize their mental health and physical health and all of that over anything else. So Simone is the GOAT, point blank, period. And I was so glad to see. I mean, Jordan is so fun to watch. That girl's so fun to watch. She is so unapologetically herself. I just love watching her do anything. And then I loved seeing her. Bye, Sharita. I loved seeing Jordan with those grills, taking a picture with the grills with the gold. I am all for that. I'm all for authentically being yourself. I told my kids they don't like it, but when I finish this program that I'm in, and when I do other things that I want to get some grills and take a picture, they don't like it, but it's a culture thing. So anyway, kudos to all of those, to our U.S. gymnastics, women and men, who are killing it, and they are killing it. They're doing everything. And then let's go ahead and just jump on right here. We are now in a space where Vice President Kamala Harris is now the presumptive candidate for the Democratic Party for the president of these United States of America. Kamala Harris, the Kamala Harris, who is a former senator, a former attorney general, prosecutor, a former everything, a graduate of Howard University, a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and she probably belongs to 60 million other organizations that I cannot name and that I am not aware of, with her Indian, Jamaican, black, white, whatever heritage that she is the presumptive candidate. And I don't want to get on here and spew anger and hate and frustration on either party, because I think that there are enough people out here doing that. So I'm certainly not going to be here for this. But here is what I'm going to say about all of this. We do know that the Democratic National Convention is August 18th. And we do know she has not named the VP yet, unless she's named it since I have not been on the internet today, really, or I've been on there a little bit. But we're looking forward to those sorts of things. But um, the things that I have seen and heard people say and do on these social media streets, I mean, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, because those are all the platforms I'm on, Twitter or X. In addition to the news media outlets, in addition to the podcasts that happen, because apparently podcast equipment must be buy one, get three free. So everybody's a podcaster now. Everybody got that fuzzy microphone they keep spitting into, with the earphones on. I've heard some people say some very disgusting and rude and nasty and racist, misogynist, bigoted, homophobic things. And I think that the rhetoric and the language that's out here now is even worse from when it was Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to necessarily say it was worse for and because when former President Obama was running, there was a lot of racist language, a lot more racist language than Trump versus Hillary, right? Um, Very reminiscent of the Obama era, and it's just really, man, it's really disappointing. And I'm trying my best to remember who I am in many capacities. I understand that this platform that I have on here, though it is private, I understand that these lives are public. I understand people can look things up and dig things up on me and send it to somebody and say, look, she shouldn't have this job or she shouldn't, whatever, whatever. And so I'm always trying to be careful about that, but also still kind of being true to who I am. And I just cannot believe some of the things that people are saying and doing. I cannot believe people questioning Kamala Harris's blackness or asking when did she turn black. And I really cannot believe some of the things that are coming out of some of the mouths of people in my own culture. I'm just going to say that. It's really sad. Sounds like a lot of people are brainwashed. And it sounds like a lot of people, or feels like a lot of people, feel like this is a game, and it really isn't a game. There's a lot at stake. Um, and America is still a very new country compared to so many other areas in the world. And we've got to start getting this experiment here right, called America. We've got to do something better. And we've got to leave this place better than we left it. And we've got to show these newer generations of young people that this is just not how we go about doing things. And I'm not saying that every time they go low, we got to go high, because I'm just going to tell you, I think sometimes you got to meet people where they are. I think sometimes you got to get in the gutter with people. I think sometimes you got to get down and dirty with people, even as a preacher. I feel like sometimes people only understand one language, and if you don't speak that language, they ain't going to get it. So sometimes you got to rise up. Sometimes you got to pull up on folks. Sometimes you got to pop out, right? Um, but I still believe beneath all of that, people can find some common ground. And unfortunately, it seems like we can't. So here's what I'm going to say about this whole situation right now. Everybody needs to protect their peace. I have not been thumbing through or combing through as much as I would like to, because I'm trying to protect my peace a little bit, although it's very hard. It's hard to hear people talk about people like that. It's hard to hear people how they refer to black people in our culture and things like that. It really is. And it's hard to listen to a person question someone's nationality when he done changed his name 3 times, wrote a movie that is apparently a half truth on Netflix. Watch it if you want to. Has mixed race children himself. And yes, I am referring to the vice president candidate. And I'm referring to him because he's newer and he came out talking big stuff quickly, quickly, quickly. Calling people names and being condescending to people who don't have children and who only have cats. And it's like, where are we? It's like we in a playground somewhere and it's a bunch of little kids arguing, and at some point you just be like, would y'all just stop? Would you just go over to the slides and you go over to the swings and we just keep going? Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. But we're kind of past that, right? We're past that. And I just hope that for the rest of August, September, October, top of November, that things don't get worse. Um, I hope that things don't get worse. I know that some things are going to get worse, but I'm hoping like for not the worst. Let me say that. I'm hoping for not the worst. I know somebody who's already experienced some stalking and some violence on the road. A young lady who is near and dear to me, who is married to someone that is near and dear to me also, and they are an interracial couple, Caucasian woman and a black male, living in West Virginia. And people are already experiencing things that are pretty scary. So we need to watch, fight, and pray. Whatever. Protect yourself. Not only do you need to protect your peace, but we need to keep our head on a swivel. We need to keep our head on a swivel, because the behaviors of some of these people that are so outlandish, we can't put anything past them, right? And I'm not saying worry. I'm not saying worry as a Christian. I'm not saying walk around worrying, but I'm certainly trying to let you know to keep your head on a swivel and watch. And let me tell you some other people to watch. Let's jump to some fun stuff. Plies is out here doing the work, okay? Plies is a rapper. In case y'all don't know him, go look him up. I'm sure you know at least one of his songs or have heard at least one of his songs. And he is on the train for Kamala Harris. But one thing that I appreciate about him is he actually speaks and talks about factual information, unlike many other people. And unfortunately, unlike some whole networks who are just allowed to be out here telling lies. I cannot understand for the life of me what has happened to journalism, but it is where we is. Oh, journalism. The NABJ, right? The National Association of Black Journalists, where one of my sorority sisters was one of the interviewees of the not presumptive, but Donald Trump is the candidate for the Republican Party for the presidential office as a former president, where he belittled her and the staff and the event, and also said some other crazy things. And I'm going to tell you what I am disappointed in regards to that, because I know people are upset about the fact that Kamala Harris did not speak there. And there's a lot of stories swirling around. The most consistent story that I've seen regarding that, and this comes from Roland Martin, April Ryan, and a few others. The most consistent story, hey Vanessa, that I saw regarding that is that they wanted both candidates to be in person, that Vice President Kamala Harris was not able to be in person, and was trying to, her party, her people were trying to get them to make some concessions. And those concessions were not accepted. Therefore, she declined the invitation. But the narrative went out was that she declined to come, which that statement in and of itself may be accurate, that she declined to come, but it needed to be clarified why she declined. And I'm going to say this also. Vice President Kamala Harris just became the candidate like all of 2 weeks ago, right? Everybody is expecting her to just roll over and do everything she was supposed, that they want her to do or anybody else to do just because you want them to do it. She just became the candidate. She got a whole calendar like everybody else out here in these streets, and definitely more of a calendar because she is the current elected Vice President of the United States. So she already has stuff on her calendar for this event that the NABJ had already planned. So I'm trying to understand, and again, if they have a policy that their people have to be in person, I understand that, but I think the narrative that was put out there was unfair, right? And it gave a picture that she didn't want to come. And this has to be a lesson for anybody else, because I'm sure she's had to shift her whole life around right now in order to put herself in places and do things that she was not necessarily preparing to do. Now, let's be honest. Did she know prior to us finding out that Joe Biden was going to withdraw from the race? Quite possibly. But it's not like she knew last year. And it's not like she knew so long ago, right? And so things have to be adjusted. And I just don't like that narrative. There's also a lot of stuff that has come out about the National Association of Black Journalists that I'm not a fan of, that April Ryan and Roland Martin have talked about, and Jamel Hill and several others. And if you don't know any of those names, those are all black journalists, and or some of them are White House correspondents and analysts. I think Sage Steele talked about it a little bit too. And it is very disappointing that that is the narrative that comes out, But I am very thankful that Vice President Kamala Harris is the person that she is. She is the person built for such a time as this, because the amount of hate and vitriol and lies and false information and misogynist, racist, bigoted sayings and phrases that are going to come out about her and that are coming out about her, she's able to handle this. I just, have to be grateful about that. And I'm not saying that she's so strong she can't break. Obviously, you know, everyone has a breaking point, but I am saying that she's built for this. And she's built for this time where all this is going, on. So guard your hearts and your minds and keep your head on the swivel. Keep your head on the swivel, especially if you live in a state like mine where gun laws are a little bit more lax than others. So there's a lot of people walking around here like Yosemite Sam, just kind of waiting for that action, for those encounters. True story. I'm gonna tell y'all a true story right quick, and then I'll move on from this. Follow plies. I talked about that, right? A few years ago, my husband and I were at a Cracker Barrel in Manassas, and I like Cracker Barrel. I like Cracker Barrel's food, but I will say there have been more times than not that I've been uncomfortable at Cracker Barrel. Let's just be real. And I know all sorts of people go to Cracker Barrel, so don't come for me. I know black people go to Cracker Barrel, Asian people. I know all kind of people go to Cracker Barrel. Okay, I think they have some good food. They have some things that are really good that I enjoy. But I'm just being honest that there have been more times than not that I've been uncomfortable in Cracker Barrel, even where I did stay and eat. The last time I went to Cracker Barrel was, at this point, it was probably about 2018. Since then, I'm not gonna lie, I've ordered food from Cracker Barrel and I've gone to pick it up. Amen. Because the pancakes with the crispy edges and that hash brown casserole, even though I can make that too. The last time I was sitting in there, it was Corey, myself, and the girls. I remember. And you know how they have those seats where you can sit kind of on the other side of like the booths and the table, and you can play with the chess and the checkers and stuff. So the girls were sitting there and they were playing chess and checkers. And there was a man that was walking back and forth. Now, Cracker Barrel has the store part and then the restaurant part, right? Which, are pretty sizable areas. He was walking back and forth in the restaurant area a lot. And I just wasn't sure. I'm always paying attention to, I people watch, just so you know, I people watch. Call it what you want to. I like to people watch. That's why I like having a porch, because I like to sit on my front porch and I like to look at people. And not just my back porch. Ain't nothing going on in the back of my house, but the woods. Okay? I like to people watch. And so if God allows, I will expand and make a bigger porch in the front of my house. Et cetera, et cetera. I digress. I was watching this man. Now, I believe we had our food already and were like on the tail end of being done. I'm pretty sure that we were. And as he was walking back and forth, I could not help to notice this big gun on his hip in a holster. And I just kept saying to myself, why does he need to have that gun out? I am not opposed to anyone owning a gun. and protecting themselves. I'm not against the Second Amendment's right to bear arms. I do think there needs to be more restrictions, and we have what we have, so mind your business. Um, but to be walking around like vigilante style is concerning to me. Is concerning to me. And he was walking back and forth, and at first I was thinking maybe he was looking for somebody, but it was too many times. It was about 5 times, and so at that point, I didn't even want to deal with, let me ask a manager or let me let a manager know I'm uncomfortable. I was just like, we need to go. I just looked at Corey. I said, we need to go. He's making me uncomfortable. I don't know why he's pacing back and forth. He has his gun on his hip. The girls are sitting, like we were here. They were sitting a little bit over. I called them back over. I just didn't like the scene. And we got up and we left. Nothing happened. When we were leaving and after we paid for our food and everything, I think he was still in there, but I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. And when something makes you uncomfortable, when somebody makes you uncomfortable, when somebody's talking uncomfortably, any of those things, you have the right to remove yourself from that situation. I don't care what's going on. If it would have got too bad, I'd have left out of there without paying. But I digress. We certainly weren't going to do that. And so what I'm saying is, in these times that we're in right now, where there are a lot of people talking big and bad, and a lot of people are talking nonsense, they're talking out both sides of their mouths. They're talking with a lot of hate in their heart and vitriol for whatever reason. They have something against a lot of people. Just be careful. Be careful. Just be careful, and don't assume. Don't assume anything. Just be careful. Just be careful. Something else lighter. I know I told y'all to follow Plies. He's been talking, doing some good stuff. So I know y'all been into these Tiny Desk concerts. And I'm going to tell you something. Tiny Desk, NPR's Tiny Desk concerts is where I discovered a young man named Durand Bernard, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows at this juncture in life. And, oh, Stellars. I got to put that down. Stellars. I almost forgot. And I didn't know him prior to that. And he got on that Tiny Desk, and that is still labeled as one of the top 5 Tiny Desks of all Tiny Desks thus far. And so, if you haven't been keeping up with these Tiny Desk concerts, you are missing out greatly. But I want to send a message to NPR Tiny Desk if they are watching, and I will tag them in these videos. I need Jamie Foxx on a Tiny Desk immediately. I know that Jamie Foxx doesn't have like 20 albums and 30 scores and 15 to 20 movies like a Babyface, et cetera, et cetera. But we all know that Jamie Foxx is grossly underrated. He is a multi-talented, multifaceted individual who can sing his butt off. And he did have that one album with Unpredictable and the song about his mama. I love that album. That was a great album. So NPR, I need Jamie Foxx on a Tiny Desk. I hope y'all saw SWV's Tiny Desk, because we've been trying to tell people for years that SWV is that deal. And people were denying it, but they sounded amazing and they did well. Shaka Khan's Tiny Desk was off the chain. I think the Locks just did a Tiny Desk that I haven't even seen yet. It popped across my timeline for old school 90s rappers. So get up on Tiny Desk. I don't know what y'all waiting on. I don't know what's going on, but do it. Oh, there is a TikTok trend. Here we go. Here we go. There is a TikTok trend that's playing Breaking My Heart by Mint Condition. And it's kind of, the song is slowed down, but basically it's about like people's parents who used to break hearts back in the day. So it's like showing a picture of like your parents kind of now and then how they looked before. I didn't pause. The video didn't pause. That was just me pausing. Y'all better go check that video out. Y'all better go check that. Let me tell you something. I The 90s was a time to be alive. I I any of these newer generations should be envious. The 90s was a time, man, for heartthrobs, for, I mean, hair fried dyed laid to the side, earrings in ears, honey, shape ups, big baggy clothes, but still was crisp. The crisp Air Force Ones, the crisp K-Swiss every year, the slouch socks, the shorts with the crease, the chains, the girls with the tennis skirts, and the 90s was everything. And so this Breaking My Heart challenge is so good. I can't even, please go check it out. It's called the Breaking My Heart challenge. And so as soon as you hear Mint Condition, the pretty brown eyes, breaking my heart. I'm rusty. You need to go check that out for sure. Also, there's another challenge, and I forgot. Oh, there's another challenge called the Black Wife Effect Challenge, and it's pretty funny. It's people who are married to black women. That's what it is. And their before and afters. These trends are hilarious. So go check it out on TikTok. I guess if you're not on TikTok, you can't do it. But listen, there are some good and fun things on TikTok. Don't make people think that everything on TikTok is terrible or is just useless or whatever. And truth be told, there's a lot of very valuable fact checking information happening on TikTok, since some of the trusted media that we've had all our lives have decided to break journalism codes and just put any old information out. Shame on them. And shame on some of us for still patronizing them and watching them over and over and over and over again. I keep saying I'm gonna get off Twitter, X, because I certainly don't support, the current owner or whatever of it. I just don't engage on it as much. But I guess I'm too nosy to really leave it. So kind of shame on me a little bit too, right? Um, but anyway, okay, so that's that. Okay, I got to talk about the Stellar Awards right quick. I have not watched the Stellars, I'm going to be honest, but I've seen a lot of clips from the Stellar Awards. I know that Kiera Sheard and Karen Clark Sheard performed, and it was wonderful. I know that they were styled to the gods, okay? Jay Bolin is always doing it with his styling. I also know that Kiera Sheard held a pre-stellar type event that looked like it was a humdinger. Looked like it was fun and spirit filled and Holy Ghost run and all those good things. And then, hey Tamika, and I think I saw maybe one or two performances, but I haven't watched the Stellars all together. But here's what did happen on the Stellars. Lean in so you can see my gray. If you can't see my gray, you ain't leaned in. Maybe you can see it anyway. Um, Kim Burrell, the Kimberly Burrell of the Kim Burrell vocalists of the gospel industry. Kim Burrell gave an apology to the LGBTQIA plus community. Did y'all know that? Hmm? Did you know that? I didn't either. But I watched the apology in its entirety. And I will say I had to watch it more than once. I was a little confused. Also, because I wasn't sure if her apology was referencing a specific event that had happened. We all know that Kim Burrell has had many viral moments that were considered very offensive to a lot of people. Um, the last one that I was made aware of was the one when she was singing. And then she was asking that lady to let that mask work for her because she wanted to sing by herself and she was worshiping and she was like, it's not you, it's me. That's the last viral moment that I remember. It was around the same time that Keon Henderson shushed the lady in his choir stand too. Um, so I don't know of another moment, but her apology was very specific to the LGBTQIA plus community. And one thing she was saying was that, a lot of times we say stuff and do stuff in church. Church has its own jargon and different phrases and things that we say that could be misconstrued by other people. And it's never her intent, obviously, through the preached word to hurt anybody, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There was one point when she kind of beckoned everyone to clap, like to give it up for the LGBTQIA plus community, and the claps were few and far between. And it's how many people it usually is inside the Stellar Awards, so it wasn't a lot of people clapping, which was interesting, but not surprising. Then there was another time when she kind of did like this, and she was expecting like some feedback, and she didn't get it there. Um, I will say this: the apology was very well written. It was very well written, whether she wrote it or not, and I'm gonna go with that she wrote it. I mean, sometimes some of the things that they prepare, even if it is true and genuine and heartfelt, is put on the prompter, right? Let's not like kid ourselves. Everything ain't on a little notepad or coming off the top of their head. 'Cause sometimes you come off the top of your head, you mess around, say some more stuff, you're gonna have to do another apology video after the apology, right? So let's go with, I think she wrote it and it was a true and genuine apology. I thought it was very well written. What was interesting was the tone behind the apology. It had a lot of Kim Burrell grandeur in it. It did. And I'm going to tell you, I struggle with Kim Burrell. And that's exactly what I was going to say, Tamika. I'm coming to that. I struggle with Kim Burrell. She is vocally one of the most amazing people you will ever hear sing in this lifetime. She is vocally one of the most amazing people, I'm going to say it again, you will ever hear sing in this lifetime. What she can do with her voice is incredible. It is incredible. It is incredible. It is incredible. And I struggle with her because I love to hear her sing. I never paid to go hear her sing anywhere, but I did go to 2 services where she sang in Detroit one time. But I struggle with her because of her delivery and sometimes what seems to be disingenuous. After reading through the comments, hey Grace, after reading through 2 of my line sisters on Instagram, hey y'all, after reading through a lot of the comments of her apology, I came across a comment that said that the only reason the apology was delivered is because Procter & Gamble threatened to pull out of the Stellars if she didn't apologize because they were giving her that kind of Lifetime Achievement Award and they're one of the sponsors. I didn't really fact check that or anything, but that tracks. I know the Stellars has many sponsors like every other awards venue or group of people, right? You need sponsorship and nobody wants to lose money. I don't know who wants to lose money. If there's anybody on my live that wants to lose money, please let me know because I have a place where you can lose it. I have an account that you can send it to via Zelle, PayPal, Venmo. What else I got? Cash App. Like I got all the things. So if there's anyone that that wants to lose money, let them know that I have a place where they can lose it, and it's a secret place. Like where God will hide you, and I will hide it. Like I hide the word of God in my heart, in my bosom, but that's where I'll put it. So no, Kim Burrell doesn't want to lose money. No one really wants to lose money. And again, I'm saying the apology I think was good. It was written well, but there was a lot of grandstanding and Kim Burrell grandeur behind it. But I don't know at this point if we're going to get anything else. That is who Kim Burrell is at this point, and none of us are perfect, right? So I don't want to sit in here in the seat of judgment, judging Kim Burrell's behavior when I have not always behaved the best myself. I've not always said the right things or done the right things. I try every day to say and do the right things. I try every day not to slap people. I try every day not to cuss people out. I try every day to swallow the words that I really want to share and that I really want to say. I try not to always pop out and show them. I had to let people like Kendrick do it for me and other people, and I have to live vicariously through them because I have a lot at stake. I have a lot to lose, and even though I trust the Lord God with my whole heart and my being, I don't trust his people. And so I got to watch this, right? I do think it's interesting there's been no other conversation about it though. So I'm curious about how people felt about that apology. I'm curious about that weak clap she received. And I'm curious about the backlash or not. And I really want to know. I really kind of want to know what she was talking about specifically, right? On the slide, Tamika, on the slide, and let me tell you something. I am so thankful and grateful for the inner circle of people that I know and love, and who know and love me regardless, and they don't judge me. And I am thankful and grateful for that. That doesn't mean I'm a different person in front of people and I'm somebody else behind closed doors. But what it does mean is that really everybody don't deserve all of you. Ooh, what did I just say? I'm about to preach. I'm in the middle of writing a sermon. I'm preaching tomorrow. So y'all tune in to Providence Baptist Church at 10 a.m. But everybody doesn't deserve to see all of you. And so what you allow people to see is your decision, right? If you allow people to see the wild side of you, go ahead. That's your business. But I am of that. I'm of a different school. I'm of a different school, a different breed. Us 1980 folk, we a little bit different. And some people will say, well, we not brave enough to show who we are to everybody all the time. No, it's called a little something different, but you go ahead. Anyway, Keon Henderson. There it is. There it is. My line said it. Everybody doesn't deserve a front seat to your show. Period. Some people ain't even get access. Before I get to Keon Henderson, that brings me to Shannon Daughtery. How do you say her last name? Daughtery, who passed away. Y'all know her as Brenda from Beverly Hills 90210. Some people know her more from Charm, but she's always Brenda to me from Beverly Hills 90210. And we have been watching her fight the good fight for years with her cancer. And one thing I'm gonna say about Shannon is she has been true to who she is from day one, because there was people back then that she would write on the internet. People got the nerve to say this, that, and the other. They wouldn't even bring you a cookie when you was hungry, blah, blah, blah. And Shannon went on and passed away from this side to the next. And she left a list of people that she did not want to be allowed to attend her funeral. This is cranberry juice in case the judgment comes. It's cranberry juice. I wouldn't dare. It's cranberry juice. Shannon left a list of people she did not want to be allowed to come to her funeral. And at the end of the day, I'm not mad about that. People leave their wishes to their friends and family all the time. And I think that was something that was important to her. Maybe some people have wronged her, and some people say, "Oh, she should have let those feelings go and harbored that or whatever." Come on now, that's no different from you saying you want How Excellent sang at your funeral, or from you saying you want fried chicken, ham, green beans, and potato salad at your repast. That's no different from you saying cremate me. That's no different from you saying scatter my ashes at the Potomac or whatever. That is her request. Her request is that um, her request is that people are not allowed to come that are on this list, whoever they are. And the funny thing about that is the fact that a person would even have to make that list means that she knows those people are going to try to come. Isn't that ironic? Some of the people who talk the most about you, who mistreat you, who don't like you, they're going to be the first ones running to your funeral with snot rags and tears. They're going to be the first people showing up. They're going to be asked if they can pass out programs. As a matter of fact, they might usher. They're going to come to the house and they're going to bring a pie. And they're going to come hug somebody. Just like Bishop went to Raheem's funeral at his mama's house on Juice. You done killed your friend and then you gonna show up at the funeral and hug the sister and the mama? Like you didn't just shoot Raheem in cold blood. I'm still mad about that. I love me some Tupac, but I'm still mad about that Bishop. I'm still mad. I'm still mad that he did Raheem like that. Anyway, I digress. Um, Rest in peace to Shannon. And she really was a person that I did enjoy as she was going through what she was going through. I enjoy her sharings. I really did. So that was nice for her to share her journey with us. She certainly didn't have to. But rest in peace to Shannon. Keon Henderson. Pastor Keon Henderson, who told the lady to hush because the only voice he wanted to hear was the Holy Spirit, God's voice, and then proceeded, I lift my hands in total praise to you. Keon Henderson. Pastor of Lighthouse Church. Is that his church? I don't profess to really know his church. Shawnee, formerly Shawnee O'Neal is his wife. Keon Henderson's church was among many of the buildings, edifices that were destroyed during the hurricanes and torrential weather and storms that hit Houston, Texas. And he's asking for $4.4 million to help rebuild it. He's asking for $4.4 million to help rebuild the church, which that's not a huge amount, honestly, for a church of that size. That I kind of assumed it was a church of that size. And a lot of people are like, he has some nerve after his behavior. Well, first and foremost, he'll get it. He'll get 4.4 million somehow, some way. And maybe that's not even all he needs anyway. Maybe he's getting some other finance, but he's trying to, strike a good balance of what's financed versus what's paid for. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say this in a way to be boastful at all, or to boost myself, or to boost Corey or anyone else that I know. But nope, not but. To boost myself, to boost Corey or anyone else that I know. Period. Y'all love controversial churches. Controversial churches, controversial pastors, people who stay doing the most, saying the most, writing the most, wearing the most, and all of that are the churches that stay full. And the people who are trying to do their absolute best and they're trying not to be controversial and they're trying not to hurt people's feelings and all that, those churches don't get the same following as some of the other ones. So y'all love Keon as much as people talk about him, you still love him because you're gonna go there, you're gonna give him this 4.4 million, and he's gonna rebuild it, and it's gonna be another lady in the choir, even if that lady don't come back, and he gonna shush her too. And y'all gonna excuse the behavior, and it's just gonna keep going on and on and on and on and on because nobody's perfect, and we can never say anything, blah 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 blah. Because that's how it goes, and that's how y'all are. So, if you would like to support Pastor Keon, you have to send, if you're in a certain area, you have to send the money to me first because I have to make sure it's coming from a reputable source. I have to make sure it's all cleared. And then once that happens and I clean it, and then I'm going to send it to him. So just make sure to send it to me first. And then I'll be sure that Lighthouse gets it. And I'll make sure to have your name on it. Maybe just your initials because it's going to have to go through my account to be cleaned and everything. But anyway, I'm just kidding. So listen, y'all. I said I wasn't going to be on here super long today. I have so many other things, but I have no time to talk about them because I don't want to be on here long today. But let me tell y'all something. I'm back on my couponing game. I keep telling y'all couponing is not just about using coupons. Couponing is about buying things when it's on sale. It's not just having a coupon. Of course, having a coupon is going to help. But y'all need to download these apps. Y'all need to get on these digital coupons. You can get the paper ones too. You can double up and you'll be good. So you'll be seeing me post stuff like that. The girls' candle line is back. TT&T Candles and Gifts. We're working on the gift side of it. I think this week we're going to be at a farmer's market on Thursday evening, just kind of kick it off and start it out. So please follow TT&T Candles and Gifts on Facebook and on Instagram, so you can get the latest and the greatest. I'm getting ready to have another kind of collection for Blessing Bags and Beyond coming soon. Make sure y'all follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, IG. I already said that. Facebook, TikTok, IG, Snapchat. I'm getting old. Twitter, X. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. I am going to spend like 2 more minutes on this. I'm going to be done because I ain't start till like 4:04, 4:05. I've been seeing a lot of celebration of life posters for a lot of young people. And I'm gonna say most of the ones that I've been seeing have been people in churches, church folk. And I'm not just saying like the funerals at a church. I'm talking about these are people known in the church world. They're either a gospel singer or a preacher or a leader or something, somebody's child or whatever. And it's really concerning. There's a lot of young people checking out of here. I don't know if it's a physical health challenge that's causing it, a mental health challenge. I don't know if it's death by suicide. I don't know what the deal is. But what I do know is I keep hearing and seeing things like do it, go for it, try it. Right here on my computer, I have a sticker that says start somewhere. This other sticker says feel the fear and do it anyway. And so I just want to say to anybody, it's not me trying to be a prophet or anything like that, but I have been seeing a lot of things about just do it, just go, just figure it out. You'll get the money later. You'll do this, you'll do that. That we need to go ahead and do certain things. There's so many things that we're waiting on. And I don't know what we're waiting on. Be it we're waiting on other people to do it, we're waiting on the right funding, we're waiting on a yes, we're waiting on a confirmation, whatever it is. But life is short, y'all. People are checking up out of here every day, and it's getting younger and younger. And I don't know if it's were people always dying younger and I just didn't pay attention to it, or if it just seems to be exacerbated now. I don't know what it is. But what I know is life is short, and sometimes we wait too late to do the things, man. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's going on a cruise or just buying that one purse you've always wanted to buy, or writing a transcript for your book, or trying to reconcile a relationship that you know probably will never be reconciled, but you want to try it anyway. Whatever it is, just do it, because time is running out. Like, a lot of people's clocks are running out. And I think Kev on stage said this in one of his lives like years ago, that there's so many, the cemetery is where there are so many ideas that never were realized. There's so many books that were never written in a cemetery. So many, there are so many things in a cemetery that never came to pass. And his point was so many people died never doing the things that they truly wanted to do, or never trying something they wanted to try. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to be a successful billionaire or whatever, but for whatever reason, we hold ourselves back from a lot of things. And every time I see one of these celebration of life posters, it just reminds me to just do it. Just do the thing. I'm not trying to like overwhelm myself and do a whole lot, but there are some things that I want to do that I've just kind of been lagging behind to do, or for whatever reason am afraid to do, or apprehensive. I would say apprehensive more than fearful. And I need to just do it. I need to just do it. And also, I need to remind myself of the things I've already done. We forget very quickly of who we really are, what we've already accomplished, what we've achieved, the good health and strength we have, the friends that we have, whatever. We forget very quickly about those things when we have other goals. When we set goals, sometimes setting goals can be something that is, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but sometimes setting goals also makes us forget what's already happened. And we become so hyper-focused, and I'm pointing over here because I have goal things up here. And we get so hyper-focused on all the stuff that we want to do that we actually think we haven't done anything. And we forget about all the stuff that we've done. And it's pretty crazy. I really keep reminding myself, I don't care how long ago it was. I did a TEDx talk in 2019. That's crazy. And while I have all these other things that I want to achieve and I want to do, like every time I look at, oh, I haven't done this yet, I haven't done this yet, I haven't done this yet, I'm like, I'm hard on myself. But I have all these other things I've already done. So just do the things. That's all that I'm trying to say to end this live. Is just do the things because tomorrow's not promised. Um, I hope the things are not bad things though. I don't want to tell you to do the things when the thing you really want to do is take somebody out of here or something like that. But I'm just saying. I know there are many things that people want to do that for one reason or another have not done them. Be it time, be it energy, be it effort. And all I'm saying is put your best foot forward to do it. The book ain't gonna be done tomorrow, but do a little bit here and there, right? Anyway, it was good seeing y'all. It was good talking to y'all. Uh-oh, this back fat. That's all right. I've tried to unbig my back all summer, but it's been too hot, and I like to exercise outside. So that's my problem. I don't like being inside, indoors, in gyms, exercising, or even in my house. I like to be outside walking or riding a bike, and if I can't do that, I'm slipping, and thus the rolls. Oh well. Anyway, it was good seeing y'all, good talking to y'all, and I look forward to the next one. I don't know when the next one is going to be, but just stay tuned. And thank you for hanging out with me for my Sound Off Saturday. Bye.